The Department of Environment and Conservation has a Natural Diversity Recovery Catchment program. This program was set up to protect regionally significant natural areas, particularly wetlands that are threatened by salinity. In this case, we're focused with this integrated water management approach on a naturally saline braided wetland channel. This channel includes an important gypsum wetland as well. In the context of the salinity threat in the agricultural zone of WA, there's an estimated 450 plant species and 400 animal species that are threatened by salinity, and they're threatened to the point of extinction. There was a number of funding bodies involved with this project, and the Northern Agricultural Catchments Council, or NAC, were part of that. The project is located in the Bunteen-Marchagee area, which is about 200 kilometres southeast of Geraldton, WA, between Karoo and Dalwallinu in the Department of Environment and Conservation's Mid-West region. The integrated water management approach was tested in what we call a demonstration water management catchment. This catchment was an 860 hectare area. This was implemented in 2005 and 2006. This approach was then scaled up to a target area of 19,000 hectares between 2007 and 2011. This approach was implemented on a number of different farming properties and is uniquely characterised by having or implementing both plant-based approaches and engineering approaches to tackle the salinity and changes in altered hydrology. The aim was to reduce salt, sediment and nutrient export from the farming land subcatchments to the downstream wetland assets. Simultaneously, the work aimed to reduce waterlogging, erosion and salinity on agricultural land, and in a number of cases the works also helped to protect public roads. By August 2011, the overall integrated water management project was completed and includes 115 kilometres of grade banks, 49 kilometres of waterway levees, 104 kilometres of fencing, 5 dams, 2 floodway upgrades, 1 major culvert on a sealed road, 4 kilometres of gully erosion repair, removal of 8 kilometres of obsolete earthworks and establishment of 712,000 seedlings. Not only has this program been successful in terms of improving land management, but it's been successful in terms of improving relations with landholders, and we believe this is really important in the context of the long time frames that are necessary to deal with the issue of the changes in landscape hydrology.
Because we'd already had contour banks in from past years, and they were definitely hadn't been maintained, and so there was the need for some other system to go in. And when DEC came along with this proposal, we thought that that would be a good idea, and so we went with it. If it didn't have demonstration as in the wording, it still wouldn't have mattered. Because it was next to a main road being serviced, that people could, when they're driving past, could see from the road what had been done, and that there was improvement in the land and that, so it helped in that regard. Well, I guess the rewarding was to see that it did work more or less straight after everything had been finished, when we had 100 mils of rain in the summertime, and it filled up and the water all went in the right direction. Before, it would have pooled there until it more or less ran over the road and then went on in its natural way. Even though the culvert, as big as it is, everybody thought it was we'll never see water fill that up. Well, it filled it up, plus some of the water ran down the road anyway, so it if anything, it could have been bigger for that particular rain event. But we most probably won't see another one of those for a little while yet. So yeah.
The demonstration site was integral to my decision to proceed in the project. It was very well ran. It would look quite impressive. Everything looked like it was done in such a common sense approach, and I've actually seen it work. The water management component of it was truly tested not long after it was built, and so the whole system looked like it worked well. The tree planting was good. Talking to the farmer involved, he was happy with a lot of areas, although certainly moving his farm machinery around now is a little bit harder, but I tried to avoid that when I adopted the project. But overall, the demo site was a good idea to start off the project. The project meant to me an opportunity to get people with skills onto my farm and assist with water management, and we throw in tree planting. Obviously that's part of the water management, building of banks. The whole system was an opportunity. The very good part was other farmers were doing it. The fact that skilled people could come to this area and work with 4, 5 or 6 farmers, whatever the number was, rather than someone driving a long way just to visit me. It's overall efficiency. It's efficiency for the government. It's efficiency for taxpayers' money.
Well, having DEC involved was paramount to the whole thing, because I'm not going to do all the office work and book work, like apply for grants and stuff like that. This is beyond me. So it was good that DEC were there to do that and coordinate all the on-ground works and the tree planters. I mean, there's a lot of trees went in, and Jan and I wouldn't do that on our own.
We always wanted to fence off the creek lines and put trees in and everything, but we could never afford to do it on our own and with our own power. But with all this help, it's just made it fantastic. And we just really appreciate what they did for us. It just makes it worthwhile. And as you can see, it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's good to see all the bush fenced off, all the unproductive land treed and fenced. Good to see the waterways all levied and treed, and down in the valley floor everything's treed and fenced there. And then the cropping side of things, it's good to see all that a bit more uniform, less waterlogging. The best part of the project, probably just seeing all the trees around the place now and the farm a bit more aesthetic and more protected, like from erosion. Good to leave land better than you found it.
Implementation of a project like this does require good management, and DEC have been managing it all along, and we've been lucky that they've had very good personnel doing the planning. Under the project, the waterways we've got 2 main waterways. They were sort of more clearly defined, enhancing our stock water supply because we run livestock on this farm as well as cropping. Levee banks were installed to stop the water running out over the paddocks when there's heavy rainfall, and they were fenced out and trees were planted alongside, and extensive revegetation, and that has included some areas down near the salt lakes where secondary salinity was showing, and those areas have been planted to saltbush, and that is very useful feed for the sheep in the autumn. Where we're standing now is in front of a gypsum lake, which is a very special lake. It has water in it at present, but there are large gypsum crystals on the floor of it when it's dry. This spring we had two experts here on orchids. They were actually looking for a rare species that wasn't here, but during the course of searching the lakes, 21 species of orchids were identified, 17 of them to species levels.
It enabled me to do what I wanted to do because of the grants. First of all, it motivated me to do it and to make a decision. If I was doing it myself, using my own money, I probably would only be halfway, may not even be halfway through this program. So it made me get off my backside and get started on it, and because it's all organised, other than me saying yes, do this, do that, yeah, I'm happy with that, I'm happy with this, it's all organised for you and it's done. And I've got to say the trees that the boys put in are fantastic. I mean, they were planted in 2 drought years, almost 100% strike rate, which amazed me, and they're starting to look good. Yeah. The only downside would be the difficulty in controlling weeds on the contours where there's trees planted. But I think in time we'll solve that. The thing I would suggest is I don't know whether the banks have to be as big as they actually are. And they do actually, in the end they take up quite a bit of land that is good viable land. But that's one of the things you have to wear. Hasn't sent me broke, so it doesn't matter.
The main messages I'd like to give people looking at doing this is to put a bit of effort in yourself and make sure things get done that you want done. If you half-hearted approach to it and don't give your input to it, then you won't get what you want.
You've got to pick the eyes out of what works for you and try and fit it in without disrupting what you actually do on your own farm. You know, that's because we spend all our life on this farm, so it's got to work for us.
Work out your farming equipment and the widths of equipment and where you're going to drive with this equipment, and make sure for banks you have passovers, for where there's tree belts you have access through them. Just make sure you get your equipment movement. It's crucial to get your equipment movement correct the way you want it. Don't let the project hold it back.
Every farm's different, and every farmer's different, and so it's always a case of people deciding what suits them and what suits their farm. But if they're sort of there for the long haul and wish to sort of improve their property for future generations, I think it's very valuable to participate in the integrated water management project.
But we need these sorts of incentives to do these sorts of things. It's too easy, I think. I don't think we get a lot of help from governments, and this is one bit of help we're getting, so it's fantastic, and I hope it keeps going. I mean, it's the whim of the governments to make up to decide whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, or whether the money's worth spending on us. But we need to keep farmers out in the bush, and maybe this is one way of keeping us out in the bushes if we've got, you know, projects that keep us excited, I suppose.